Since the dawn of time, we stared with awe and respect at the upper realms, the unbounded and inexplainable vastness of the sky. Here, on our remote and modest islands in the middle of the great expanse of water, generations have lived and died for uncountable millennia, blissfully ignorant of what lies beyond the distant horizon. Until one day, many moons ago, strange people came to us. The elder folks will remember well their arrival. They came riding magnificent sea dragons with smooth iron skin whose speed and might were unaffected even by the harshest of waves. They claimed themselves to be people from distant and unknown lands. They told our elders that a war was raging in the heavens above, a great conflict whose scale and intensity mere words could not convey. They told us that many races from the cosmos were fighting over some noble cause of some kind. They continued by saying they were currently on the back foot, losing many stars and planets to the demonic forces. An evil faction composed of many treacherous sects who would lay to waste our realm if they ever got the chance. To halt their advance, the people from beyond the horizon told us that their alliance dispatched forces from one of their strongest clans to repel the onslaught. Although their words concealed many mysteries and were not fully comprehended, we understood that those strangely clothed people needed to build a sort of temple or a nest for their allies to rest and feed their war birds. In exchange, they promised to deliver rations and goods to our villages. Since that year was the third in a row of bad harvests, our population was starving and in dire need of food. The famine and their undoubtedly superior magic abilities left us no choice but to accept. Soon after, many sea dragons, not unlike the one we first saw, arrived on our shores. From their dark bellies, they spat out numerous armored beasts and mounts whose roars shook the air and march made the ground tremble. In less than a month, these creatures devoured uncountable trees and rocks, clearing a long and thin strip on the highest plateau of the main island. Then, new, different monsters released their black and steamy feces, as others following them from behind compacted this unknowable substance with oversized rolling pins like we do to prepare dough before putting it in the oven. Many other enigmatic structures and towers appeared around the perfectly straight black heavenly road that started from the tall trees and extended hundreds of steps to end just before the cliff edge overlooking the great sea. Then, after some days of eerie quietness, the awaited allies of the people from the lands beyond the horizon flew down from the upper realms. They came riding their chariots and majestic beasts like comets in the night sky. As they pierced the shroud of clouds, they were engulfed by hot flames, emanating a bright light. Their divine mounts possessed magic and techniques that allowed them to reach mind-shattering speeds and reaches. As they approached our mother island, their powerful screams made even the mightiest predator disperse, as the sheer weight of their aura scattered the roofs of our huts as they flew by. We would soon meet these strange people from the upper realms. Their appearance was very striking as they were like nothing we had ever seen, and in some ways, they resembled the heavenly beings whose coming the sacred manuscripts foretold. Although we had many difficulties communicating, they introduced themselves as the people from Hue, saying they had come from across the stars to fight the demonic forces. As the days went by and winter approached our corner of the world, dozens, even hundreds, of warbirds were landing and flying away from the plateau daily. They were of many sizes and appearances. From atop the highest sacred tree we could see them. Some were smaller and black in scales, more agile and swifter, clearly intended for cavalry charges across the skies. Others, much more massive and varied in color, received the affectionate nickname of gentle sky whales by our people, as those were the ones who carried the precious gifts and foods that the people of the lands beyond the horizon promised us. Every week, our people anxiously awaited their arrival, praying and performing rituals on the empty shores. Every seventh day, as the sun came down, a sky whale would come into view, approaching from the east, seemingly born from the warm red horizon, flying over the smooth waves, leaving behind a turbulent stream over the sea. The magnificent beast would slowly align its flight path with the black road to then elegantly land. It didn't take long for our people to flood the gates of the nest to receive the needed food. But the sky whales did not carry just wheat and rice. Many artifacts and precious treasures were often gifted to us by the people from Hue. Strange items of mythical properties and mystical powers were generously handed out as if they were of little value. One of the most common artifacts amongst the noble ones was the white smoking stick, apparently essential in channeling one's negative emotions. It aided in relieving stress from one's soul. To activate it, the rune of fire was often the preferred choice. Small and handy, it had the power of birthing and controlling a small flame. But more often, they would gift us far more valuable items that have allowed us to prosper for many days and nights. Of particular use were the plentiful medical pills and elixirs that saved numerous people in dire need. Of equal importance were the rations and substances, the books of knowledge, and all the many tools and clothes forged in the heavens. As the seasons marched on, our modest island saw an ever-increasing number of warbirds visiting the artificial nest the people from Hugh erected. With a day's worth of looking at the clouds, one could see and hear hundreds of heavenly mounts. Many were the warbirds, but the flying swords were not less in numbers. Gigant iron dragonflies and lesser dragons were often sighted circling our shores, while flying fishes elegantly descended from the stars. Then, one day, after plummeting from the skies and drastically changing our lives, they started rituals to return to the great beyond of the stars. Asked for a reason, they explained that their realm of origin was in danger and that every warrior had to return with haste by the order of their council of elders. Without many words, the people from Hugh departed, leaving our people a dark and uncertain future we never imagined. Nothing is around the iron nest these days, where dozens of majestic mythical creatures once rested and drank the dark nectar of the upper realms. Now lies tall grass and tree sprouts. The stalls and indoor yards that housed and shielded the silvery beasts from the elements now protect only heaps of dust and cowardly rodents. At first, we returned to our modest ways and simple lives, but soon enough, problems started to arise. The power stones of the magical lanterns eventually exhausted all their chi reserves, and the medical items needed to be used more sparingly as our food reserves shrank faster than a snowflake before the might of a fire. The era of abundance created by the benevolent people from Hugh had rendered us complacent in our harvest of the fields and lazy when hunting for wild games. Our ill populace now could barely survive what before were considered everyday ailments, as our bodies and souls had become dependent on otherworldly remedies. These and many other adversities manifested each long passing day since the children of the immortals left. Realizing that, without their generosity, we would suffer untold agonies and pains, we tried in many ways to contact them. Firstly, we sent some of the bravest and most capable sailors to venture into the harsh waves to reach the people from beyond the horizon, hoping they had the power to contact our benefactors. But fate was not on our side, as they all had to turn back, swayed by the unrelenting currents that dominate the deep waters. Understanding that even our best efforts to challenge the sea would be fruitless, we thought it better to wait for one of the sea dragons to come and visit us. But again, fate was not smiling at us as, after many moons, no one had approached our shores. Out of desperation, our elders sent people to ask the old shaman living on top of the peak of the Mountain of Ashes for help. After many days and nights of discussion and meditation, the mysterious individual pronounced that the lords from the upper realms would not return to the lower realm without a worthy reason. On the other hand, he said the spirits revealed a possible method to call their heavenly mounts, especially the sky whales. Since then, every day, priests and virgin maidens from all the villages have gathered on the plateau, near and around what once was the black road for the sky, now turned gray and sprouting with wild weeds, with a color palette akin to stone overrun by moss. They hold ceremonies and rituals trying to gather the attention of any traveler flying over us in the upper realm. Although we do not have the exact sacred tools or luminous runes, we try to mimic their dances and gestures as best as our physiology allows. Many are those tasked with holding the red and green sticks, while others stand aside with long straws, ready to feed the beasts with water dyed in black ink. Some, the strongest, use their might to turn the stone dish at the top of the wooden tower covered in silver. Some others, the fastest, use their speed to run up and down the holy road to keep the embers alive so that even during the darkest nights, the sky whales would easily see the way to the nest. These are just a few of the many roles needed to catch the attention of the heavenly beasts, for they are so powerful and majestic that any other welcoming party would be an insult. Even though ours is nothing but a mere attempt, an outrageous mockery perhaps, our intentions are pure and moved by necessity. We would never dare call upon the inhabitants of the upper realm if it was not a matter of life or death. Even if our attempts might be laughable to their eyes, we are sure every procedure gets performed with the reverence and gravitas it requires and deserves. We are sure of it. We are sure that the people from Hue are still out there. They haven't returned yet because they are fighting to protect their dear realm. The war for the heavens must be harsh and bitter, but with their strength and might, it's their destiny to triumph over the forces of evil. And looking at their complex calendar, we are nearing one of their holiest festivities. Apparently, during the night, an immortal shaman is said to deliver gifts to their younger ones by flying around with a mystical chariot pulled by magical beasts. And as the children of the people from Hue anxiously run in the tree room on the fated mornings to receive their toys, every dawn, we pray and beg for the sky whales to rise over the reddish warmth of the rising sun to receive the medications we need but don't deserve. But maybe tomorrow, as they celebrate the birth of the son of one of their gods, they will send a lone whale, even a small one, if they even remember our existence. We keep hoping, praying to be violently awoken by the angry wiling of the heavenly creatures. We wish and fantasize for our humble tents and huts to crumble under the weight of their land monsters. We wait for the favored sons of the gods to eradicate entire forests and scar whole cliff faces to build more nests for their mounts clothed in silver. We keep waiting for the return of those who go by the name of Hue men.